Marcus Rashford has been dropped from the England squad. Hato to Manchester United, one of the only Ajax players I'd like to see come to Manchester United because we've signed a lot of them. Youssouf Fofana, 25 million deal. Monaco confirming he will basically leave. Big boost there for Manchester United. Reports saying that Rabiot was close and that we're talking to Rabiot, but it's not the most credible, so we'll leave that to the end. Ten Hag to get a new contract. What is the information on that? What is the information on Tuchel, McKenna? A couple other stories going about. Well, hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and we're going to round up all your latest Manchester United news in less than 10 minutes, starting with the Euros news. So Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw and Kobbie Mainoo, congratulations. They've been called up to the England provisional squad for Euro 2024, but Rashford hasn't. And some Manchester United fans are really happy about this and celebrating this because they can't stand Rashford, which I think is weird. I think you can say, well, you know what, this might give him a kick up the bum. That's probably better for us because he can have the summer off to focus on himself. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. That's one way of thinking of it. I'm not sure why some United fans are really happy. Does Rashford deserve to go to the Euros and play over Anthony Gordon, Foden, Bowen, Saka and Palmer? Absolutely not. Not going to argue Rashford not being there. If Rashford wasn't in the 26-man squad, wouldn't argue it. What I will argue is Rashford not making the 33-man squad, I think is unfair because he's not been as bad as well, actually, not that. Has Maddison had a better end to the season than Rashford? No. Is Maddison any good for England? No. What Southgate's going to play Maddison left wing anyway. He's not a left winger. You know, you look at then, of course, Grealish left wing. He's been crap. Rashford not getting called up, fair. Maddison and Grealish getting called up, but Rashford not. I do think that's probably been influenced by social media narratives. When you look at England's left-hand side, Luke Shaw being the only left back because they've not called up any other left backs. And then you look at, Foden being more of an inside forward, potentially playing on the left. It's not the most, because if Luke Shaw's not fit, their left-hand side dynamic struggles. I think Anthony Gordon's the best pick for left wing. Foden will probably play left wing, but I think that Rashford probably should have made the 33-man squad. People will argue me on that. I'd rather have Rashford than Grealish. Should Rashford be in the 26-man squad? He's absolutely right to be dropped. He's not been good enough. He's been a disgrace this season. But I'd have Rashford over Grealish. But we're not here to talk about that because I could be going on for ages. I want to talk about Manchester United's transfer plans and all of that. So, it was said, AS Monaco director Thiago Seguro on Youssouf Fofana. He is probably one of the players that were open to selling. We will see what opportunities come. Youssouf Fofana will leave Monaco, according to many reports. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and Monaco are open to selling for £25 million. Fabrizio Romano confirmed last summer that Manchester United did inquire about getting Fofana on a loan with a buy option because they would loan him and then they would buy him next year when they could afford him, which suggests to me that United had this plan of buying Fofana this year on that loan to buy option deal. So maybe they're going to go back in for Fofana this year. When you look at £25 million, when you look at the 6-8 hybrid market, Amadou Onana being a bit inconsistent for Everton, some fans wanting him out, Max Reifer, but we're not really linked to him. Hjulman, but is Hjulman good enough? Because I think sometimes I'm a bit unconvinced on him. I think Fofana for 25 million and the fact that we need two midfielders would then allow us to go and spend money on another midfielder. I think for me, you get Fofana for 25 million, you get another good midfielder for 35 million, and you're getting two good midfielders for 60 million, which is what Amadou Onana might cost you. I think for me, that's what United should do. And then you've got 60 million, two good midfielders in there if you spend 25 million on Fofana, and then you can go for someone cheaper at the back and someone more expensive at the back. Then you can go for Elise, then you can go for your striker. And I've been praising Amadou Onana a lot, and I know everyday MUFC like me is a big fan. I was about to say Amadou Onana, sorry, Youssouf Fofana is also a big fan because he can play a 6, he can play as an 8, he's top at progressing the ball, he's physically excellent, which is what we need, but the physicality in the midfield to partner Maynard, partner Bruno, but he's mobile, he covers large amounts of ground, he's good at intercepting the ball, tackling the ball, he's defensively pretty decent at reading play, he's quite good on the ball at progressing play, whether it be passes or carries. He's quite technically good on the ball, able to pick up the ball from the centre backs and drop deep. 25, just turned 25, £25 million. For me, Fofana, that is what I think it could be one of the summer steals. Another summer steal, who I feel like is going to Arsenal, which I think is greedy from Arsenal because they've got Timber, who's basically the same profile but right-footed, is Hato. why am I saying his name wrong? And it said that Manchester United have been scouting Hato as they look to sign a left back this summer. Now, he's more predominantly a left centre back, but he can play left back. He's a bit like Yuri and Timber, but left-footed. And I would be a massive, massive fan of this deal. And I'm going to explain why in a second. But to give you a little bit of statistics on the guy, he's 18 years of age, and he probably wouldn't come in and start right away, but he's someone that can be developed. And considering that he can do what Martinez does for Manchester United now, and he's 18, he can be the understudy to Lisandro Martinez that comes in if Martinez gets injured and learns off Martinez, who is another Ajax player. But also he can play left back if we have issues there. He can play left back. He can play left centre back. Luke Shaw and Martinez both get injured. He can be the understudy to Luke Shaw and Martinez, covering those two key positions if they get injured and eventually take over from them as well. I think he's so good. He's so technically secure in possession. He's absolutely brilliant in possession. And we lack that at the moment at the back, which is something we need. He's the youngest ever captain of Ajax. He's got that mentality. He's a little bit like Nathan Ake, left back, left centre back, cover that dynamic, and could be available for less than 30 million. And at 18 years of age, he ranks first and second for so many statistics in the Eredivisie. You know, aerial duels, he's a lot better than Yuri Timber. Dribbles, he's good at. He's very good on the ball, very good playing out from the back. I mean, the maturity for an 18-year-old is absolutely insane. And I tweeted this earlier. I said, if I was United, I'd invest the centre-back money into a top right centre-back that's going to be that Varane replacement. But if we're looking at the left centre-back, because we need two centre-backs, someone that's going to be back up to Martinez, you've got to remember who we bring in at left centre-back will be back up to Martinez. So it's not going to be massively expensive, because I'm going to assume that Martinez has better fitness issues this next season. So I'm thinking of someone that could actually also be back up to Shaw, back up to Martinez at the same time. You potentially Calafiori, potentially Lukumi, you know, someone in that 25-30 million range. And then you've got Hato, and I think, or Calafiori, and I think they're two really good options there, because then we can invest. You could also get Hato or Calafiori for, let's say, £30 million. And then you get Lenny Euro for £50 million. That's very young and inexperienced, but that's 80 million. You get Bramford for 60 million. That's two top centre-back signings for 90 million. We spoke about getting two midfield signings for 60 million. That's 150 million on two key midfielders, two key centre-backs. You make 100 million in sales through Casemiro, Sancho, Greenwood. That's 50 million net spend. Elise takes it to 110 million net spend. 40 million on a striker. That's 150 million net spend, which was what Man United can do this summer. And it doesn't look too bad. Now, reportedly, Manchester United will make 4 signings in the striker, midfielder, centre-back and left-back this summer. But if it is a sort of centre-back that can play left-back, like Hato, like Calafiori, that would be great. And then a striker, midfielder, hopefully 2 midfielders and a winger, of course. But let's now dive into other news, because there is news going about Ten Hag potentially getting a new contract. Will Ten Hag stay? Will Ten Hag go? We'll probably know in a week. It's looking 60% Ten Hag goes, 40% Ten Hag stays. But I think the media are swinging towards Ten Hag going, but I don't actually think they know anything. I think they're guessing, which is why it feels more like Ten Hag's going to go. Now, I want to read this report from Malik of the Mirror. Eric Ten Hag is looking for Sir Jim Ratcliffe to show him commitment by offering him a new contract, but so far there have been no talks about an extension. United would need the Dutchman to pay around 10 million in compensation if they back him. There is a possibility Ten Hag will walk out and to take up a new challenge if Ratcliffe fails to give him the right backing at the end of the season. So, I don't think Ten Hag's going to walk out, but Ten Hag wants a new contract. Will Ten Hag get a new contract? Because I do think going into next season with Ten Hag, 1 year left on his contract, INEOS going into next season with, and again, technically a short-term manager could be worrying. If you keep him, surely you extend his contract. If you're keeping him with 1 year remaining on his contract, it doesn't feel long-term, which then puts doubt. And all the rumours next season, if we do keep Ten Hag, will be, will he leave, will he leave? INEOS aren't extending his contract. For me, if he stays, INEOS have probably got to extend his contract and just invest in the project. They've got to say, you know, this is a long-term project. We're going to invest in it by extending his contract, which he doesn't necessarily deserve, but it's either you sack him or you keep him and you extend his contract. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know if you get what I'm trying to say there. I still have a feeling we're probably going to get Tuchel. I don't think we'll get Southgate. I don't think we'll get Potter or De Zerbi, despite rumours. I think it will be Tuchel or Ten Hag stays. Now, more rumours going about Rabiot to United, and what would it be? It wouldn't be a transfer window without Manchester United being linked to Rabiot from mostly Italian and BS sources. I don't think we're going to get Rabiot. Maybe we will. We've always liked him. He's available on a free. Can't really be bothered with it. It's not coming from anyone reliable, but apparently we're having talks with Rabiot. Apparently we're interested in Rabiot. That's the end of that story. And then Michael Plant is saying this: the main names in the frame for Manchester United job are Southgate and Tuchel, both very much admired by the INEOS hierarchy. If Southgate was going to be the next Man United manager, he wouldn't be dropping his key player Marcus Rashford, and bringing up Grealish. I actually think the England lineup, Rashford being dropped, confirms that Southgate's not going to United, because he wouldn't drop Rashford if you knew he was getting the United job. It would be, especially if he's brought up Grealish. It was a toss-up. Apparently, it was a toss-up between Rashford and Grealish. He went for Grealish. If he was going to be the Man United manager, I think he'd have gone for Rashford. And people might say, Alice, what are you waffling about? That makes no sense. It makes sense to me, okay? I also just think that Southgate isn't going to be the Man United manager, and all these, and this is the, all these journalists that are saying the Man United players want Southgate, Rashford was parading for Southgate. He clearly wasn't. Do you know what I mean? He clearly wasn't. Southgate is not coming to United. It is so much waffle. It is so much rubbish. I can't keep telling you guys that. Don't believe it. But look, guys, please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.